Hi everyone, this is Z, aka the Witch of the Void, and in today's video I would like to talk to you about the Switch 2 upgrade for Xenoblade Chronicles X and whether I think it is worth to get it at the price of $5. So, what does this upgrade offer? Well, it offers an upgraded resolution of 4K, upgraded textures, and also unlocked FPSs in the docked mode to 60 FPSs. So the combat feels faster, the entire game feels faster, and in my experience, the faster combat does get some getting used to. Everything feels faster and more lively that way, but it only happens in the docked mode. If you play in handheld mode, you will still be locked in 30 FPS. However, you will benefit from the improved textures and also higher resolution for the handheld as well. If you tend to go back and forth between the docked mode and the handheld mode, then the switch in the FPS count from 60 to 30 and then back to 60, well, it is registered by your brain. So you will feel it, though in my experience, it's not a terrible switch, but still noticeable. If you play mostly in docked mode or mostly in handheld mode, then you will not experience this bizarre switch when everything starts to move faster or slower if you go back and forth. Something that I think is important to mention here is that you have the ability to switch the upgrade off or on in your virtual card menu on your Switch 2. You can just load the game so it plays as if it were the Switch version, and then additionally load up the upgrade to boost it up to the Switch 2 upgraded version. I'm mentioning it here because this is the way for you to also test whether you like the upgrade and what it has to offer, or not really. My way of doing that was to boot up the game without the upgrade, play for a bit, move through an area I like, do some combat, then turn off the game, start with the upgrade loaded, and go through the same area and doing some combat to compare how it differs graphic-wise and combat-wise and FPS-wise. The same goes for the handheld mode. You can just load up the game without the upgrade, then close it, load it up again with the upgrade, and see how you feel playing both versions and which one is for you. Now, you might have heard or read somewhere that initially, when the upgrade was released in February, it didn't do that well. It had some issues that I'll talk about here. However, I have booted it up recently, decided to give it another go, and I am happy to report that, to my naked eye, the issues that I had with the upgrade before are no longer there. Now I am happy to play with the upgraded version, and I think I am much better for it. The issue that the upgrade came with was, I think, some wonky upscaling and also anti-aliasing that was just making everything much worse, especially in the handheld mode. As I mentioned here, I am happy to report that I no longer see those issues. Nonetheless, let's talk about what was then and how it is now. At the release, if you played with the upgraded version, in docked mode, the upgraded characters, while their textures looked really nice, very detailed, and you could tell that they did bump up the resolution, they all looked very, I don't know how to call it, oily, wet, very glossy-like. That felt really off. Additionally, if you looked at the background and the foreground, everything that were in the foreground, the trees, the grass, it had this kind of an anti-aliasing effect on it that make it look like, do you know those books that have some images that pop up? So that's how it looked like, as if those were some items that were popping up from a very distant and very flat background. It looked really bizarre, as if you were playing in a world where everything is made up, as if everything is a cutout from a card box. Don't get me wrong, it looks pretty nice when it is by design, like for example in Paper Mario RPG. However, here, especially after playing without the upgrade, it was so off-putting to me, I couldn't play it with the upgrade on. at least till now. Now, I am happy to report that this bizarre effect of everything being cut out is no longer there. They, I guess, toned down or did something to the anti-aliasing or the upscaling that it doesn't look that popped out from the rest of the screen. The background and the foreground now blends in well together, and now I can see how much of an improvement everything received. Also, when it came to textures, some were greatly improved, however, some didn't seem like they were. For example, I thought that in the upgraded version, some rock textures looked really blurry, as if they weren't actually upscaled, compared to the normal version, which didn't have that. They looked much more crisp in the unupgraded version, so that was weird. So again, I'm happy to report that the issue is also gone now. Everything is properly upscaled, and because of that, the 4K resolution really does its job now. It really looks that much more spectacular. So everything looks even better now, and I already thought the game was beautiful, and with all of the upgrades that the upgrade brought now that they are working properly, it looks so spectacular. It's hard to believe that this is a Switch 1 game upgraded to Switch 2. Honestly, I am stunned by all of the backgrounds and how just amazing the art in this game look like. Additionally, something that is quite important for people with motion sickness, like I am, with the upgraded version, the motion blur that cannot really be turned off in this game feels much less blurry. So if you play in the unupgraded version, Switch 1 version, then if you turn the camera, the blur, the faster you turn it, gets unbearable for me. That was especially bad in the cutscenes where I was able to turn the camera around. I quickly learned that I can't do that because the motion blur is just so bad there, so blurry that I would get sick almost immediately. So with the upgraded version, the blur is much more subtle. I can switch the camera when I'm running about much faster now and I don't feel sick. And also in those cutscenes, when I try to turn the camera, unless I do it all the way as fast as I can, I don't get motion sick anymore. So a huge win in that department. Now, before this silent update to the upgrade, if you played in the handheld mode, then the anti-aliasing effect that they had applied to the game made everything look really weirdly blurry, especially when you were running or moving. You might have seen some of the screenshots presenting how distorted the faces of the characters in the game looked like with the upgrade on. I concur. They were as if someone smooshed them over the screen. They looked very bizarre, disturbing enough to not want to play the game with the upgraded version. Also, the anti-aliasing made everything look, again, very card box cutouts, kind of like. So I'm happy to report that that issue is gone as well. So character faces aren't smooched on the screen anymore. And the upgrade toned down this anti-aliasing enough so it no longer looks like you are playing a cardboard cutout game. I am a bit sad that the handheld version doesn't have the 60 FPS as well, because I quite enjoy playing the game with this new speed. It makes everything very exciting because it is happening much faster now. So reacting to your character's callouts or enemies' attack has to be done even faster. It brings this element of combat where you really have to think on your feet. And as I said, one day I was playing back and forth between the docked version and the handheld version, and those 30 FPS in handheld version felt a little bit weird immediately after I switched. The original version is locked at 30 FPS, so the game is smooth regardless and plays very well. It's just the moment of switching back and forth that's challenging to the eye, I guess, and the brain, but not that much of an issue. So both in the handheld mode and in the docked mode, everything looks pretty great now, and with this silent upgrade of the upgrade, I can confidently say that the price tag of $5 is well worth it now. I wouldn't recommend it before, but I'm glad that I haven't refunded it, just waited a bit, because now it's my preferred way of playing. I hope that you found this video useful and informative. Are you planning on giving the upgraded version a go now? Or perhaps not? Either way, please share your reasons in the comment section below. And also, if you could, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more information and reviews of cozy games, Switch to games, horror games, and other games, including tabletop games, that I will be reviewing this year. Thank you very much, and see you in my next one. Bye! Presenting you another cat that wants to guest star